how we can fit the modeling for the scale-ups, what we have discussed. Yeah, please.
So as during the talk I told, like, this is for the prediction of the process. So once we have a good prediction and full control on the operating parameters, definitely it can be scaled up. And now the parameters are like how many columns you want to select for the scale up, and other parameters like based on the scale. Yeah. So this totally depends upon the total product what we are going to purify and what is the target for the industry to meet the productivity. So based on that, definitely we can do this. Yes.
So how we will decide the number of columns?
So number of columns, I will say it depends upon how fast you want to go. But same time, if you select a bigger columns again, so the loading capacity will not be matched very easily. So you have to have a balance, like column should not be too big again with respect to the batch mode, the previous traditional process. It should be definitely smaller. But definitely when you increase the loading capacities or targeting high breakthroughs, it should be maintained in a way like, it is a trade-off. So productivity should be increased. Productivity is the first function we should look at. So I will say the batch mode productivity lies between 6 to 7. And when we target, definitely it should be higher than that. So definitely if we target 12 to 15, that will be really optimal for the scale up. Definitely I request Rahul also to add on the same front.
I guess the major thing is about the product titer. So if you have, so we have studied like effect of the various product titers. So if you have close to around say not exceeding more than 7 grams per liter of the product titers, then I guess 2 columns is good enough to offer you the productivities in the range of 25 to 30 gram per liter per hour numbers. But if it exceeds more than 7 gram per liter, then there is a need of like a third column in a place, and obviously all other physicochemical parameters like viscosity effects and a kind of changes because of this viscosity onto the column pressures that needs to be considered. So ideally, looking at the Indian biosimilar scenario at present, where the yields or the titers are not more than 3 grams a liter, I guess the twin column really suffices the need of the overall continuous manufacturing. Thanks.
I like to pitch in here. I'm pretty sure the titers that you're talking about are going to be history. What I've seen over last 10 years is titers have changed from 1 to 3 as a standard outcome from cell culture. With media changes and things, you could expect 8 or 9 as a standard outcome. That's what I'm seeing right now in industry. Okay, so you might talk about it as 2 columns or 3 columns. Irrespective of that, column as a technology itself is going to be a limitation that is going to pop up. When he spoke about the solo VP and those things, like usage as PAT also is important in integrating with your continuous chromatography, because that's only the way we are going to maximize what model we are going to develop. Okay, you might say that a 2 column technology versus a 3. Engineering challenges also come up in terms of getting that entire system working. We have worked with probably 1 or 2 connected steps as such, but it becomes too complex to even operate that kind of a system. I'm not sure what's your experience with it when you talk about 2 or 3 steps being in sync. Okay, productivity is not only about protein A, but productivity is overall end to end.
Thank you. So maybe I would like to add on this. So as Dr. Rahul mentioned, 3 gram, and as Sir mentioned, 9 gram per liter. So definitely upstream side, the titers are increasing, and it's going to have a bottleneck on the downstream side, because downstream is still getting ready. The cell culture technologies, the fermentation technologies evolving very fast. But how we are coping up with the downstream technology? So from the supplier side, I can tell you, so we are also coming up with a very, very fast processing. That, as you have discussed about the radial flow. So we are also coming up with the membrane-based chromatography process. So we have Sartobind Rapid Ape. Now we have launched it. Within 12 seconds, you can obtain a DBC of 40 mg per ml. So this sort of technology will definitely help with the connected process. Maybe doing the process in the flow-through mode rather than doing a bind and elute mode will definitely help to optimize the or mitigate the challenges of higher titer.
What about the mRNA where the yields are very high but the DBCs are very low?
Yeah.
Between 3 to 6.
So the mRNA, if I say it's still in a development phase, if you have heard my presentation also, so there is a lot of work is going around of mRNA and a lot of development is being done backhand side. So definitely what we have come up with this monolithic columns, which gives at present 6 mg per ml for oligo DT column, which to best of my knowledge, nobody is offering right now. Definitely it have to increase further with more optimization. So yes, it's in the nascent stage, the dose requirement is very less. So if we talk about the scale up or a volume, it will not go more than 20 to 30 liter or at the max 100 liter for the commercial scale. So at present, this technology is working fine, but yes, definitely improvement is required and scientists are working towards it.
And I can add a little
Yeah,
bit
please.
to that too. So the binding capacity that you're talking about, right, about 6 grams per liter, it's going to depend on the construct that you're working
True,
with, right?
true.
Is it going to be the mRNA vaccine that Moderna is making, which is 4 kilobases, or is it going to be self-amplifying RNA,
Exactly.
which is 14,000 or maybe 10,000, whatever? Because then your hydrodynamic radius is changing, right, depending on how it's folding.
True.
And the conformation changes based on the sequence. So all those need to be considered for sure.
Size and type
So,
of mRNA, what we are.
Absolutely.
Definitely,
So,
that's going to have an impact.
yeah,
Yes.
so you're absolutely touching on the right points, right? So I guess my recommendation would be if anyone is looking into that space, it's always best to compare all the different technologies that are there because you never know what will work best for your molecule. So whether it's monolith or resin or anything else that's coming up, it's better to try all of them to see what's really working best because you could get pros and cons from the different technologies depending on how you want your process to look like and what your main focus is. So DBC is definitely a challenge.
So
I would say,
basically,
for
if we
mRNA.
conclude, so a robust process development should be required. Having the process in center, what you really want to achieve, that should be taken care at the development stage.
So how to control the double-stranded RNA in that?
So double stranded RNA is one of the very, very typical contaminants when we talk about the mRNA purification. So we have shown with our primase column and C4HLD column that we are able to resolve the double DS RNA, which is going to add the immunogenicity if it is present. But definitely, if it is a purification, you really have to optimize your process parameter, your DBCs, your binding capacity, your elution pattern, because these things are going to impact the resolution. Being a larger molecule and DS will be the further larger molecule. So those things need to be mitigated, need to be optimized in the process development. So there are technologies available which can resolve the DS standard. The thing is to need to be optimized and each mRNA varies. It is not one RNA, one shoes fit for all. It's not the concept. We need to optimize different types of mRNA which we are working on. Maybe Sirat, you can add to this.
Absolutely. No, thank you for making those points, all valid points, right? And when we're thinking of double-stranded RNA, so we need to understand the difference between single-stranded versus double-stranded RNA first. What are the physical-chemical properties that are differentiating them? Because that's how we're going to separate them chromatographically. So single-stranded RNA, both are negatively charged, but there's a difference in charge density between the two. And there's also a slight difference in hydrophobicity because of the fact it's single-stranded versus double-stranded. Again, the conformation is a little different. So that is what we're taking advantage of when it's reverse phase HPLC. That's most commonly used right now because it's been used for a very long time to do this. But hydrophobic interaction is something that could be looked into and needs to be studied and needs to be optimized, as you were saying, to understand this better and if it could be a scalable solution. Because purification of mRNA has been done for a very long time. As Dr. Sita Avasti was talking today, it's been going on since 1960s, 1970s, right? So it's not something new. What's new is the scalability part of it. And your small scale solutions can work for when you're targeting, when it's personalized medicine or when it's rare genetic diseases. So the small scale solutions can still work. But what is really challenging is the scale up part of it. How are we trying to work towards that? So I think we all need to start exchanging our ideas and brainstorming about how we can work together to get some of those solutions and how we can use mechanistic modeling
Correct.
to understand these emerging modalities as well. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, I will hand over the mic to the Pooja.
Thank you for the insightful discussion. I would now request Mr. Gaurav Nagar to felicitate our speakers and panelists. Dr. Rahul Bambure, Mr. Vinay Pandey, Mr. Nidhi Naik Mishra, Mr. Larry Russo, Ms. Sirat Sikka, and Dr. Kishore Jahagirda. No, it's not there. I would like to thank Mr. Gaurav Nagar and would request Dr. Rahul Bambure to felicitate him.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav, for a nice, wonderful session on advances in purification technologies. Thank you.
Thank you all of you for attending this session. We'll take a short break